Hey guys, sorry for the late video. I have been sick, as you can probably tell from my voice. I'm actually just starting to get my voice back. Sorry, I'm all spotty. I just got out of the shower. My shirt's still kind of wet. Um, so here is an update and some tips and tricks for you on making your own gem doll shoes or casting your own doll shoes. It doesn't have to be for Gem, it could be for Barbie and whatnot. Um, so before I got sick, I had gone ahead and made myself a new mold, and this is the new mold. It consists of 2 pairs of shoes. So now I can make 3 pairs of shoes at one time. And I have this small mold here that is for making vintage Barbie pumps. So, to get on with it, if you go ahead and make a mold of your doll shoes, if you're doing like a silicone mold like I did here, when you get ready to glue the shoes down to the base, the original shoes, the ones you're using to make your mold, when you get ready to cast those, you're going to want to put a dab of hot glue on the bottom of the toe of the shoe here, just a small one, and then you're going to want to put a semi-large one on the heel, and make it a semi-large one here and a semi-large one on the heel. That way when you put it down, you end up with fairly large holes like this. And the reason I'm saying that, you can do that with Gem and Barbie shoes, and the reason I'm saying that is I was having some casting problems of filling the mold all the way. Like, I would pour the resin in and everything, and then I would sit there and what I would do is I'd pour the resin in and then I'd push the mold out like that, and that way the resin could flow in deeper. But if you keep doing this, you're eventually going to stretch out your mold, and you're going to make it to where your mold is no longer useful to you. Like this one, I've ruined. This is my very first one, and I've ruined it. Like this here make the entire interior of this shoe is ruined. So instead of making a full heel, it makes like a huge wedge, and it just makes it comes out very ugly. This one makes a semi-decent heel, but it doesn't come out perfect. It comes out lumping, kind of weird. So this one is not a perfect mold anymore. It's not a useful mold anymore. I keep it to remind myself not to do that. Every time you make a mistake or you screw up, it's not a bad thing. It just means you're getting closer to perfection. So this was my first one. It was a mistake. I did not cast it thick enough. As you can see, like right back here, this is the top part of the heel. The top part of the heel here, the back part, and this just split open after I think like two or three uses, so I can't even use that one anymore. The other thing, my other tip I wanted to give you guys is I learned, my mom told me about this actually. I was having a hard time, like I said, filling the mold by pouring. So what I did, my mom said, well, why don't you use large scale syringes? And I was just like, oh, okay, because my dad's diabetic and he has to inject himself, but he only has these really teeny tiny needles. So my mom said, go on Amazon, and I found a case. I think it was 100, and it was $15 around there plus shipping, unless you have Prime, and then it was free for Prime. But these are the large syringes, and you get them without needles. That's the important thing, is I get mine without the needles. It makes it way cheaper. Anyway, and you can reuse these. You just have to wash them pretty thoroughly when you're done. You mix up your resin and the powders and whatever you're putting into it. You suck it up, and then this is what I do, is I stick the nozzle part here into where the heel is, and I slowly push down to fill the mold. And once I start seeing it bubble up through the top, I let it sit for a minute, and then I push slightly on the back of the heel, or the back of the mold, and I open it up like this, and then I just let that resin fill in all the spots, set it down, kind of tap it a bit, to get all the air bubbles out. Now the resin I'm using, the clear cast, it does, I forget what the name of it, the type of resin it is, but as it's curing, it gets rid of its own bubbles. But if you don't want to wait, like you see a lot of bubbles on the top, just go over the top of it with a lighter, like a barbecue lighter. It will not catch fire. I thought, oh my god, the resin's going to catch on fire. It doesn't, because this resin's still kind of wet, doesn't burn. See, no burning. And you only do it for a split second and the bubbles pop, just like gone. So there's that. And I then fill it, and it takes anywhere, depending, if you have your room the where you're casting at like 74 degrees and hotter, it'll cure much faster. It says it's supposed to cure anywhere from 6 to 24 hours. That's if you're just casting perfectly clear resin. However, if you add stuff to it, like I've added powder pigments, you're going to have to alter your mix a little bit, and you're going to have to add just a skosh bit more resin to it. And then like I cast these ones around 1 a.m. last night, and here it is 8:21 in the evening. They're still tacky. Now, if you pull these from the mold, you will crush the shoe, but it's surprising. Like these shoes I pulled last night. I haven't sanded them. I have to wait a few days. Look how flexible they are. You can smash it and squish it. It reforms. Now this shoe will stay squishy out of the mold. I'm gonna wait about another day, I think, on these pairs. You wait. I'm gonna wait till later tonight, and I'll pull these out. But as soon as you pull them out, they're gonna be super squishy and soft still, and that's fine if you like if you want that. But I will tell you, the longer you wait, the harder they're gonna get. It says 6 to 24 hours for them to cure. That will give you a soft cure. That means your shoe will be soft like that. But if you wait 2 or 3 days, like these I did about a week ago. They're still pliable, but they're nowhere near as squishy as this. Like you can push down on them. They go on doll feet perfectly fine. These gold ones though, these are hard. They are not budging. They're firm. And then these color change ones that I have on gem here, I call these smoky quartz, because they're clear mixed in with black that turns red with heat. So if you hold this down and get her foot hot, it'll start, well, I'm not hot enough, but it's 86 degrees or more on this one. I didn't get the daylight, I got the heat one. It'll change to a very vivid red. And these are also very, very hard. So it just depends on what you want and how long you want to wait. I have had a lot of difficulties with the Barbie mold. I'm going to redo the Barbie mold as soon as I get some more silicone. I think I just made too small of a mold. I can't really flex it too much. Like I need to make a better mold, and I have one set up where I'm going to cast, I think, like 6 pairs of shoes at one time. So it's going to be a big casting. They're all vintage Barbie shoes. They're from the 90s, 80s, 70s, and 60s Barbie shoes. And so yeah. Now this one I use pigmented powder, so I only had to add just a little bit, a few extra grams of resin. This one I used just acrylic paint, and it's a yellow shoe, but this one's still sticky, and you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, because when you put paint into it, that's adding extra liquid, and it's going to take a little bit longer to cure. Just something I learned. Unlike these ones, which is clear, but I added a very small amount of glitter to the mix, so it'll dry, but it's still tacky, and the shoes will come out, I think, hopefully nice, and they'll have a nice, like, overall glitter appearance to them. Look real pretty, I think. I can't wait for that. The other thing you're going to need is, before you pour your first mold, you're going to want to put spray in mold release. You can go to Michael's and you can buy mold release there, and it's like $10.99 for a small jar, a small bottle, like a spray bottle, but a little goes a long way. But if you don't want to spend that, I've learned a small amount of cooking spray, sprayed into a bowl or a glass or something, and then you use a paintbrush, just the smallest amount, and you spread it around inside the mold, let it sit for a few minutes, tap it, let it dry a little bit, make sure the bubbles are all popped out of it, but that will give enough of a mold release to when you come in to pull these shoes out, they're going to pop out like nobody's business, and they will work wonders for you. So that's that. I said at one point I am thinking of selling my shoes when I'm done, and I'm going to. I'm going to start selling them for $5 a pair. And I know other people are like, no, you should sell them for like, $10 to $15 a pair for your time and effort. But no, I know how hard it is to find gem shoes, or shoes to fit gem dolls, the vintage gem dolls, because they have gigantic feet compared to Barbie. And that's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. I'm not foot shaming or anything like that. It's just they're a large scale doll, so they have bigger shoes, and they don't just fit anything. And then when you do find shoes, they are a small fortune. For one shoe, I've seen them sell for $7 to $10 for one shoe. And for some of the people who do recasting of the shoes, they sell their pairs for $10 to $15 a pair, plus shipping. But I'm not here to price gouge. I'm not here to make money. I'm by no means a wealthy person, but I also don't feel like I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of people. I know what it's like to want to have a doll that you love, but she doesn't have shoes. And it's annoying. And you want the shoes, but you don't want to spend money on them. You don't want to spend a huge amount of money on just a tiny ass little pair of shoes for your doll. So I know the pain, I know the suffering. So no, I'm not going to charge a small fortune. I'm going to charge $5 a pair plus shipping. And I haven't started it yet, of course, because I don't know how to go about starting it. But if you want a pair, reach out to me on Instagram or on here, and we could try to work something out. But yeah, I figured $5 a pair is not bad. That is not a bad deal for a pair of gem shoes. And I can make them clear, I can make them glossy, I can make them this like shiny purple that I did. I could add glitter, I could add color change. I could make the colors you want. Just let me know. Or you can take my tips and my ideas, and you can make them your own and make your own shoes and do that. It's up to you. But yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do. So feel free to message me either on here, on Instagram, on Kick, on Instagram, on here. You could email me. Just let me know. All right, love you guys.